Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Well, I haven't done since high school, which is oil paint. Oh boy. And the reason I'm doing that is a lady who was my husband's client. Her mother had passed away recently, unfortunately, and she was an older woman, but she used to dabble in oil paints. And so she had a couple of supplies left over, as you can see, kind of random paints left over here, and asked if I wanted them. So I said, yes, please. So there's a little linseed oil in here. There's some patina antiquing. There's like random bags of tubes of paint, of oil, and it's all oil. So I thought, let's try some oil painting. It's been such a long time. The last time I did it was high school. I was terrible at it. All I got was mud. I'm not an oil paint artist. I have not touched it in a very, very long time. I don't know what I'm doing. But I thought it'd be kind of fun to play with oils together and see where it takes us. If you've ever wanted to try oils yourself, or maybe you are an oil painter and you see this video, please give me some feedback on where I'm going wrong and what I can improve on, because one of the reasons I never liked oils was because I did not, I like to mix, and I don't clean my brushes, and I don't organize my paintings. And I think oil painting, you have to be pretty structured and disciplined in mixing your colors and organizing your painting, and it's just not the way I paint. At least it wasn't then, and I'm pretty sure it isn't now. So it's challenging for me not to get muddy fast, but you know what? Let's just have some fun. Let's try it. I'm going to do a birdie and maybe some magnolia leaves because I love magnolias, and they just finished flowering here. After she gave me these oil paints, I was kind of inspired to find something to paint for, and I found this really beautiful old frame. It had this painting in it. Where's the painting? In the thrift shop, and it had this kind of dark, kind of sad painting. It's got some ambiance to it, but I thought I might, I'm going to keep it, but I think I might paint the other side. But I don't want to paint right on this board because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. So I cut a piece of canvas to fit on there, and then just slide it in. So there will be like a 1/4 of an inch all the way around where I will not see any of the painting. So I have to bear that in mind in my little composition. But I got this frame, I think the price is still on it. Yeah, I got it for $5, and I thought it was just so charming. So, and it's got the old wire. I had to cut it out to get the picture out, and there's the piece of board. So for $5, I thought, why not? Let's paint something so I can hang it right on my wall. Oh, assuming it's going to be worth hanging on the wall. We don't know. So, in the spirit of magnolias, I want to do the magnolia warbler. He's kind of a yellowy gray bird. So I'm going to do my best to paint him. I'm going to draw him in a second, but first I want to see what colors I've got to play with here. So I definitely need black and white. So here's some ivory black. Assuming these paints are still good. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how old they are. They look pretty old. So there's some black. So with oil paint, it's been so long, I had to kind of Google what you use for them. So you use like a mineral spirit to clean. So I had to run out and grab some mineral spirits because I didn't have any. So I just ran out to Canadian Tire and grabbed some mineral spirits. And the linseed oil, I believe, is for thinning. And I think it can change the pigmentation of the paints as well. It's been so long, I probably should have Googled that before I started. But we'll try it. We'll throw some linseed oil in there and see what happens, right? A little burnt sienna. So this is two different. This is Georgina paint, and this is Reeves. I'm not familiar with either one. Oh, Daler Rowney. Yeah, I'm not familiar with either one of those brands, but they were free, so I thought let's try it. I don't know how much paint I'm going to need. I'm just putting it out. So that was burnt sienna. That was a titanium white, I take it? Yeah, titanium white. This is cadmium yellow. And I think I'll use a little bit of brighter yellow, which is a lemon yellow. And then I'm going to want some pink for my magnolias. Or should I do yellow magnolias? I've never seen a yellow one here. We usually just get the pink and white ones. So let's do a little, what's this one? Carmen red. It's got a bit more of a red value than an orange. Ooh, so that's kind of old. We'll try that with some white, see what we get. Okay, let's try that palette. So not a huge range of colors left, but enough. There's a phthalo in here, phthalo blue, if we want to add kind of like a bluish gray, but we'll see what we get. So it did come with these little palette sheets. She gave me a little kind of not palette, but canvas sheets, which is what I cut up, and she gave me some brushes. So here's some oil brushes. This one was mine, I happen to have. Not sure why, because I don't paint with oil, but she gave me these. Now these are a little bit too big for application today, but that was a nice little treat. Free art supplies? Yes, please. I have an old palette brush of my own, palette knife, if I want to mix a pile of color, which I find oil painters do that. They'll collect and pre-mix all the colors they need, which is why I kind of struggle with oils, I think. And then just some cheapy dollar store brushes we might need for some texture or something. So I am going to draw, hopefully. I did a little sketch here of how I want them to sit. So I think I will kind of put them off center here. And I'm just going to sketch them out. So this is kind of a, you know, you can paint with me, try oil colors with me, watch me embarrass myself here trying to paint something in a medium I am not at all familiar with. So we shall see how it turns out, but we'll have some fun together, because this channel is about trying it, right? It's just about trying and having fun and going for it, and worst comes to worst, it ends up in the recycle bin. Not a big deal. So I'm just going to do a little sketch of him here and then try and figure out where I want the magnolia. So I think I'll do kind of like a, I don't know, a big flower down here maybe. I don't want to cover him, so I think I'll do a branch going up with the magnolia maybe just starting to open. And I think oil too, you have it really kind of planned out and sketched out really well, which is another thing I don't do a lot of when I do my acrylic painting. I just kind of wing it a lot. Maybe a big flower here. So we'll do one kind of open here. It's not even accurate magnolia, really. I'm just going to turn this a bit so it's a bit easier. So let me know what kind of mediums you guys like and what you like and don't like about them. So I think it's fun to really challenge yourself and experiment with things. I think they have more of a pointy. This is just coming out of my head, so I wanted to kind of wing it. So this one's going to curve towards me. Maybe we'll put one more out here. Get rid of that line. Maybe have this one curve on itself a little bit more. A little pointier. And I'm drawing a little bit darker because I'm hoping it will pick up on camera. Okay, so this guy's growing off here. This one can go up here. I know that the frame's going to cover this much at least. So I need something down here, so we'll do another branch. Maybe another one just starting to open. Some leaves here. Let's do another leaf here. And maybe I mean, I could have had all this sketched out, but I think it's kind of fun to wing it sometimes. Something like this. And then we can figure out what we want to do in the background, which I think I'm just going to do something very muted. All right, I think that works. Yeah, we'll do that. So let's flip this over here. I want to start painting. So I'm going to use this guy, this square guy, and he's a number level 2, a bright flat court, 6, whatever that means. And let's try some linseed oil. I want to see what that does. Where did I put it? Let's see what this does. This looks ancient. So I'm assuming it's going to thin the paint. That's what I'm assuming it's going to do. I'm going to pour some on my palette here. So oil paint has an odor for sure. I can smell it. I'll slide that over so you can see. And I'm going to roll a paper towel here because I have a good feeling I'm going to need some, or a cloth of some kind. Yeah, there's definitely an odor to, I do want some blue, to this paint. So there's that to bear in mind. I think I'm going to take some phthalo blue, just a smidge. I'm definitely going to need more white. So I am not going to pre-mix my colors. I'm just really going to wing it. So I am literally just going to blend it right on here. And I'm just going to play with the background a little bit and see what I like. I'm going to maybe thin this out a bit. It's a bit, yeah, there we go. It gives it a little bit more of a translucent and a little bit more shine to the paint, this linseed oil. So have you ever wanted to try oils? Are you, it is an expensive paint, that's for sure. Maybe that's something that prevents us a little bit from venturing out. I think I'm going to add a little bit of black. This is maybe a little too blue for me. Take some of that off. Want more of a gray muted blue, I think. So maybe I pre-mix a little bit of the color. I lied. Let's tone it down a little. And just going to paint around the edges. So I guess with oil too, you need to kind of let things cure and dry. So we're obviously not going to be able to do that in this video. So we will be painting a lot of wet. So maybe I'll try the bottom here by painting the background first. I don't know. Am I supposed to paint the background first, let it dry? You know, because this takes weeks to dry. So there has to be a way of doing this where you don't contaminate everything. Well, we'll see. I might end up with just an ugly mess. But at least I'm having fun, being creative, working with some materials I haven't worked with before, which is always fun. And all I had to buy was linseed oil, which was like $7. And that's just to clean my brush at the end. So I didn't want to ruin these brushes. Okay, so his tail's in there. I might have to see if I can do it with this bigger brush. I've always admired oil paints and oil paint artists. And I especially love portraits in oils. I think they're so pretty. There's just something really charming about this medium. It's got a, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a kind of, well, it's old for sure. It's an old paint. been around for a very long time. It's not as popular as it once was because I think acrylic is just a little bit more convenient to use now. But there is no replacing oil when it comes to its charm and its overall look. I mean, you can pretty much tell when you're looking at an oil painting as an acrylic. Now, there are tricks with acrylic paints these days that you can add these kind of products to it and make it look and act like oil, but there's no replacing oil paint. It's just the way that oil, I think, needs to be applied that's never appealed to me. But who knows? I'm older now. I wouldn't say I'm any more patient, but I'm definitely older. And maybe I will like the medium again. Just gonna flip that around. So I thought, let's do a video and we'll explore this medium together. And if you are an oil painter, please feel free to make any suggestions on, you know, what I should use or what I should do first. Like, do you paint the background first? Or is it a preference? You know, every artist has their own preference of approaching paintings. And any kind of feedback like that. Do I even use pencil? Am I supposed to use pencil? I don't know. Or should I have used pen? So far I'm enjoying it. I love the blending nature of this paint. It's got a nice little blend to it. But I might end up not liking that later when I'm adding other colors. With acrylic, this part would be dry already, and I wouldn't have to worry about contamination of any kind and over blending colors. But again, different paint, different process. And I don't want to be too long on the video, so I am painting faster than I normally would, for sure. You see, it grabs the pencil as well, dissolves the pencil. Okay. So you get a nice little varied background, and that's the beauty of oil paint, is the blending ability that this paint has. So I don't know if you can see it. The variations and pools of color are kind of fun. All right, I'll put this back this way. And I am gonna put a piece of paper towel here to put my paintbrush on. And I'm gonna grab my little brush here and start putting some colors in this magnolia. So I want a nice intense pink here, which is quite pretty. I'm gonna add some of that oil. It's running down here actually. And I'm just going to put this color in the center of some of these magnolias and maybe down the bottom here. I'll do a little bit over here. Yeah, I think I'll probably play with these paints a little more, do some research. I just got these, so I was really excited just to start painting. I've always wanted to try the oil paint sticks too. They look kind of fun to try. So maybe if I get an appreciation for that, I might, so this is the, what's it called? Mineral Spirits, which is also very stinky, but I want to clean my brush. And I want to go into a clean white now and maybe pull this pink up. So a nice, clean, kind of smooth transition. And that is what I think I'm going to really like about oil paint. So the pencil, well, I think was a mistake. Seems to want to dissolve the pencil and make it a bit muddy looking. So maybe it just, my lead was just too soft. But it's also blending the pencil into some of the color. That might be the linseed, that might be the, what's it called? The linseed oil doing that too. I'm not sure. So kind of put my clean brush around here. And then I'm just gonna kind of softly blend that pink in. I can see how this would go muddy very quickly because everything just stays so wet. You really have to almost organize your painting and what sections you're going to do first. I'm more of a kind of wing it painter, so organizing is not my forte, but if you had the patience for that, I think you could achieve some really nice things with this paint. What I really love about this paint is the blendability, how it just kind of really, if you keep it clean, it blends so nicely all on its own. So I'm kind of really having fun with that, like really softening out those blended edges. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be a masterpiece. That's for sure. But it is fun. It's fun to experiment with new products. Okay, let's do the birdie. So I'm going to start with this yellow. So I had a little bit of white on there already, and I'm going to patch in the yellow part of his body. Could go with a bigger brush, but I'm going to stick with this one. And then I'm going to make, I think this too, based on my picture that I remember, is yellow as well. And then I'm not going to bother cleaning it, but I am going to dab in a little bit of the black and maybe a little bit of the white. Create a nice kind of gray here. Be a touch darker. I'll put a little bit of shading in this part of his throat and a little bit in his belly. A little bit in his tail down here. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little bit more black to that. So I want to go a deeper gray. So you can see I don't keep my colors clean, and I think as an oil painter you should probably keep your colors nice and neat and organized. So I'm going to give him, he's got a very significant white stripe over his eye because he kind of looks a lot like a chickadee. I don't want to go too big on his beak either. I think it circles around like this. A little patch. And then he's got a darker gray wing over here. And his tail, that's the patch at the bottom. Thin that paint out a little bit so it moves a little easier. All right. And then he's got, I believe, a black patch. So I'm just going to wipe my brush. A black patch. Did I get it? Look, I've already got it on my sweater. Geez. I wish I had a bit. Do I have a smaller brush? I have this. I don't. Let's try it. I need a little bit more control for these small little sections. Maybe bring you down a little more too. Hopefully you can still see the palette. All right, and we'll put a little bit. Oh, got a hair there. Don't want that. Let's chop that off. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so I don't want to lose the detail of his eye. And he's definitely got a patch of white right above his eye. Should have made him a little bit bigger. My first oil painting, and I make it super small. Oh well. I'm going to put a little bit of definition in this beak, maybe. Got a nice thin line here. I think that works. And then I'm going to clean the brush because I want a brown. This burnt sienna color. In his eye. All right. And then we can go back into his body here. So he's got a bit of a patchy spot here too, and in the tail. All right, let's do a little bit more detail in his feathers. So I'm going to go with this lemon now and some white, very bright color, and give him a little couple of highlights here. See if we can highlight without over blending. See, now this I find challenging. Like, how do you get those colors to sit on top without blending? So this is where oil paint gets really thick, I guess. You know, you have to kind of let it sit on top. So you do kind of big chunks of it, which is really fun. I don't think there's enough contrast there. So I'm going to take some yellow. Maybe add a little touch of burnt sienna to it. And a touch of black. Just give myself some contrasting feathers here. He's a bit bright already, so maybe if I tone down some of these, give him a little contrast in the feather, the highlights would pop a little more. And go a little bit darker even. Kind of creates a green. Just to give him a little texture in his feathery body. I think I want to go a little bit darker in his back wing here. Nice little contrast in his tail underneath. All right. And now I really need that white to pop. So how do I do that? I'm just gonna, ooh, that's turned pink. Just kind of daub it on. So I really want that white crown he has over his eye to stand out without over blending all these colors. And then he's got a little ring of white around his eye underneath. So it starts to blend. So I have to go a little thicker, I guess. I think his eye needs a little bit more contrast too. Let's go black. Scoop up some black here, nice and thick. Really give him an eyeball. There, not bad. it would definitely be a lot easier for me in acrylics since I'm used to painting them. I don't like that. Let's fix that. See if I can fix that without making it too muddy. Just clean up that edge a bit. This beak got a little fat there. All right, and then I think I can put a little bit of highlight on his crown too. It's just one kind of solid color up here. Maybe put a little indication of feathers in here as well. There, not too shabby for my first oil painting in, I don't know, 30 years. All right, maybe 40. High school was a long time ago. And then he's got these really cool looking stripes that come down his chest that are kind of black. So we'll do a couple. So like anything though, you want to paint with the direction of the feathers that would grow. So you got to think of the form of his chest. And the feathers would grow this way. Kind of, if you were to pat him on the head, which way would you kind of stroke him? Maybe a little bit darker on his tail back here. All right, I think he looks really cute. Yeah, I could see how details can get very lost very quick. Like I would love to give him more detail, but I can tell I've got to stop or I'm just going to go real muddy. As I say that, I am going to give him a little highlight right here. Because I can't help myself. Just going to pop that yellow in his face. Yeah, it's I can see how things go very muddy very quickly. But it is really fun. Okay, let's do some branches. So I'm going to, actually let's do the leaves first. No, let's do the branches. Yep, like I said, I'm not an oil artist, so this is not a tutorial on how to use oils, obviously. This is just, let's try them together, or see that it is approachable. If you're nervous to try it, you know, you can check this video out and see that it's not as terrifying as you might think. It's just, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to give it a go. So I'm not going to paint the whole leaf. I'm just going to kind of indicate some color here. I don't want to get into too much detail in the leaves because I don't want the video super long. Now, you know, you could take your time and really sketch out all the details in a leaf, and then kind of, once you've done that hard work of sketching all that, then I would imagine you could just easily fill in the colors after that, almost like a paint by numbers in a way. You know, you've already done the artistic part by detailing, by painting that you can now just go ahead and put those colors in now that you've drawn all those details. But this was not a very detailed drawing. This was just, again, just winging it. So now I just kind of mix some burnt sienna and black back into this messy green. And I'm gonna fill in a part of the magnolia twig. I think this oil paints would be a lot of fun to paint something a little more abstract. I think that's where I might enjoy them the most, because I really love their blending nature. Now, I think I missed some blue here, so I'm going to attempt to fix that without over blending all my colors. And I don't think I did it. Let's see. Take this, some blue, more white. What else did we use? Touch of black, right? Dirty it up, but it definitely needs more white. Overshot it on the white. There we go. Ooh, now it's gone green. All right, we'll just dump that back in there. I missed that part of the background. Okay. All right, so let's do the top of the branch. So I'm going to use the burnt sienna, a raw sienna, sorry, that's definitely raw sienna. I'll just mix it with some white and a touch of yellow that's already in here, maybe this dirty brown. Let's throw that in there. Just in a few spots. And then I'm going to go with a more lighter color. I think I need some clean white. Maybe just white on its own and let these colors kind of blend. Let's see what that does. Pop this color a little more contrast in a few spots. And I think I still need a little more contrast. And you can see the benefits in oil painting of having all your colors pre-mixed, that's for sure. Well, let's just put a little highlight. I think I might play with the flowers a little more in a second. Let's finish off this green. It's a nice bright green here. Again, no real structure to the leaves, just an indication of leaves. Still fun. I think we could really pop the color in this magnolia though. I think we should go a little bolder. You know, it's a little soft, maybe just a touch. And a few spots here. And maybe, just to make the little palette a little bit more cohesive, we could add a little bit of yellow in our magnolias. You know? Why not? It's our painting. We can do what we want. Just kind of scribbling the color on and seeing what happens here. Don't really have a game plan. So this is where the experimentation gets more exciting, or your painting gets more muddy, which is very much a possibility. It's still not done, but I need some clean white here. And I think I'll go back to this brush real quick because I don't want the video too long. It's almost done. Just gonna pop a fresh coat of white on some of these magnolias just to make them pop away from the background a little bit. kind of fun. I have to paint the center of that still. It's really fun watching these colors just blend. So if you wanted to try oil, you can now see that it's not overly terrifying. And you can research. I'm sure I'll do another oil painting of some kind on this channel. Like I said, I'll try and research a little more, so I have a little bit more to tell you. But I just wanted to do this with you guys and see what I like, see what I don't like. I am just going to fix this magnolia here. It's bothering me a little bit. So I'm going to blend it out into the background where I don't like it. There. And then I just need to paint this little center of the flower. I think we'll do him brown. Just a little dab of brown in here. A little flecks. Maybe some yellow. Just a little dauby yellow on there, so it mixes with the brown a bit, just for fun. Well, that's not so bad. But I want to put a tiny little speck of white in his eye. Let's see, do I have something to do that with? Let's use my pencil, because it's a super tiny dot, and I don't have that small. There we go. Just bring him to life. I think he looks pretty cute. Not bad for my first oil painting in 35 years. There, what do you think, guys? Not so terrifying. I'm going to pull you up a little bit now. All right. Sorry, I have to wiggle you because my camera holder likes to sink. Hopefully you're okay there. I'm going to move this out of the way. Where should I put it? Let's put it over here. I'm going to try and get him, even though the painting's wet, and it really shouldn't be, but I'm excited and I want to. I'm going to just use a quick adhesive, it's probably not what I should be using, but just to keep it in place a little bit while I finesse with it. Again, this is just for fun. This is not professional. This is, this is just me goofing around. And the wire runs this way, right? Okay, so I want to put him in this way. So obviously you would wait till this is dry before you attempted this. So I don't want to smear him, but I kind of want to shove him in. See, did I get it right? Just need to shove him in there. Look! Looks cute. All right, I'm happy with that. For $5 on a frame and free paint, that's my first oil painting in 35 years. I think that's pretty good. And I just love this old frame. I thought it was the cutest thing when I saw it. I hope I can find more because they are really fun to put oil paints in. Just reinforce that with tape. And now I have a painting to hang on my wall of a magnolia warbler. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope it gives you some inspiration to just go ahead and have fun with mediums you've never tried before or haven't tried in a very long time, or something you didn't like once that you might revisit and like again. So that's what this channel is all about. Thanks for joining me and have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.